Okay, so this is a perspective you don't see too often, eh? I want to show you how easy it is to do a curved backdrop before I close this up, because this is the last part of the sheeting of all the bench work on River Road, apart from the potential expansion beyond, which like down this way it goes 12 feet, right? But I only need about another 5 feet for the Milner grain ops. And as you know, Dusty there, she likes to sleep down at Exten Steel, but I don't want her down there anymore because it's sort of finished, so she can hang out here. She likes to be involved when I start doing this stuff, but I discourage her from going down there now because there's so many details down there. Sometimes she'll lay into them and stuff, but anyway, she loves to be part of this part. Now, I just want to show you how easy it is to do a backdrop. So this is just 1/8 board, right? That's all it is. So when I laid the bench down, or the shelf, just rectangles, right? That's all it was. It was 3 rectangle frames, cut at 2 inches with 3/4 inch plywood, not Baltic birch, just cheap 3/4 inch plywood, because it's going to get sheeted, pinned, and glued anyway. But if I'm doing a surface work, I like Baltic birch for more reasons than one. But so I just took this 1/8 hardboard or medite and put it on top of my shelf, okay? And I just pushed it into the corner. That's it. I said, okay, let's see. Oh yeah, it looks good. And I drew a pencil line, put a piece of wood underneath and drew a pencil line, a piece of scrap 1/8, and then cut it out and used a template to cut this. That's the circumference, right? I just put it in like that and pushed it in, and then a couple of screws, and it's good. Did it on all my corners, right? And this circumference or curvature is the same as the upper valance and the fascia on the front of the layout. And it's very close to the curvature of all my turnouts and tracks. So when you look at the layout from the outside of the valance and in, you'll notice that it's all kind of symmetrical that way. It all flows together and is very pleasing to the eye. That's what I thought of when I did this, right? Things you don't normally think of that, but I thought of those things because maybe that's just the artist's mind. I don't really know, but that's why I wanted all my track. I have very little tangent. There'll be tangent that runs down to Ipex Plastics here, but most of it's all curved, like all the turnouts except for I think 1 or 2 turnouts are actually just standard, number 8s or whatever, but all the rest are large 60-inch radius curves. So this is around 60 inches, give or take. So once I get that in, I'll use this for a template because I'm going to cut a square piece out like this to fill this in. 22 inches by 81. I'll cut a rectangle out of 3/8 ply to sheet this. How I get the curve to fit in is I'll use this, the template. I'll just lay it on, pretend this is the actual size, I'll lay it on like that, right? Draw a pencil line, cut that out, put that back to hold my backdrop curvature, and then when that's cut out, I'll just lay this in, gets pinned and glued here, and I'll put a glue strip along here of another piece of scrap 3/8 ply, pin that, and it's good. It's all sheeted now, right? And there's a seam here which will come apart. This is a separate module. Now that that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build Ipex Plastics, and this is in the closing in this part, is I'm going to build Ipex Plastics on a piece of 1/4 inch 7 ply. And I'm going to build the walls up. It's a 3/4 flat, I call them, where the actual size of Ipex Plastics would be 2 feet by 5 feet in HO scale, but I'm only doing the corner of the building. Like, just say this is Ipex Plastics. I'm only doing this much because that's all that matters, right? It's a model railroad, so it's the railroad where the emphasis is, not the actual building. So when I cut that, I'll drop that in, glue and pin, and this will all be sealed and ready to go. And then I can run the track down here, the 2 spurs, or actually there's going to be 3 actually. And then I'm going to build Ipex Plastics on a plate so I don't have to crawl up here, right? I've only had to spend maybe 1% of my time up here. That's the disadvantage to 57-inch high bench work, is getting up in here and doing this, but it's very little part of it. And if you build on plates, like little dioramas like this sort of idea, then you can just put the model in place and adjust it and build your terrain around. Like, you can compose it much easier, right? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So remember, backdrops are easy. They're easy to do, but it helps to think it through first. And it doesn't take that long, but man, does it ever make a difference. Okay, cheers.